Hey everyone, I'm Jen, and this is my channel. If you've been following me for a while, you will know that I am a woman in long-term recovery. I am a CARC, I'm a CRPA, I'm a Narcan trainer, and I'm a rape crisis counselor. Don't mind me, I keep sinking in this chair and I'm trying to get comfortable. So if you look at my description box down below, you will find the link to my Patreon, my Amazon wish list, which I use to help local people in my community who are in need, as we all are right now. And you'll also find, the link to some other videos that I've been in, a documentary that I was honored to be a part of. Wasn't so happy about it when it happened, and now I'm super grateful for it. So and just a whole bunch of other things on my social media and everything else like that. I didn't upload it. So today is Wednesday the 6th, January 6th. I didn't upload a video today because Jared and I yesterday got, they're called Holter monitors. So they're basically just like heart monitors. We got them put on because he has been having his heart's been beating too fast. And mine, when the doctor caught it, she was like, do you feel that? And I was like, well, yeah, I've been feeling it. I was like, it double beats, right? And she was like, no, it stops. So she gave me an EKG and it was okay. And I was able to leave. And they scheduled these Holter monitors for us. Fun little fact. So when we went and we met with the technician today, she was like, yesterday rather, she goes, oh my God, a couple. I've never done a couple before. And I'm like, yeah, we do everything together. So we went and we got Holter monitors. I mean, there's just like a little, I don't know if you could even, just like right here from where it was pressed against me. So the device that we had to wear, I'll show you guys. It was just like maybe this big, like a large key fob. And they just put it above your heart. And then they have like this clear tape. It's not really tape. Like if you get an IV, the stuff that they put on so the IV stays in, it's just that piece of film that just goes right across it. It was fairly, fine. It was starting to get itchy this morning, it was uncomfortable when I slept because women, we have boobs and it moves while you're sleeping. For men, I guess it's not as weird. I don't know. That was my only complaint. But I will let everybody know what happens. Everything is fine. I took Jared to work after we went and we got them off. Everything is all good, nothing invasive. So, hopefully they just say, take this medicine, or it's really nothing, or whatever it is that they say. I'm sure they'll probably make us go to a cardiologist, but whatever, neither here nor there. Huge shout out to you guys for buying those jeans for the gentleman that is in rehab. I believe they are at my apartment right now. I'm at Jared's house. I am making him some food because when this pops up for you guys, you'll already know. Tomorrow I'm leaving for Chicago to go see Jess and Reese and the girls. I'm super, super excited. Anyway, today's video, let's get into it. Today's video, I'm going to tell you guys about the first time I used heroin. So I know I've touched on this briefly in the past, but nothing about how I'm really going to touch on it now. This was back in 2006. I had just moved up here to this area from Staten Island, New York. Well, so I was born in Brooklyn, raised in Staten Island, and I lived in Long Island for a while. And I moved up here. My dad had gotten cancer and retired. He owned a business in the Fulton Fish Market, and we've always had a home up here as a summer home. And my parents wanted to relocate here and enjoy their time. Because at the time, my dad did not know his cancer, thank God, was going to go into remission. So I followed suit about 2 years later. And I moved up here in December of 2005. Now, in probably I got sober for a few weeks to months. I was only doing pills at the time. And I relapsed about 90 days into it. And I relapsed because, I got clean because, well, I kind of felt like I had to because my parents knew, not because I wanted to or because it was time. I wasn't done yet. And my dad at the time had cancer, and he had all types of pain pills in his medicine drawer, in his medicine cabinet. And I went into my parents' bathroom for I think toilet paper. I think there was like no toilet paper in the other bathroom. And I don't know what made me open the medicine cabinet, but I did. And there was like a huge, you know, the biggest bottle of pills that they give. And it was chock full. And I was like, no way. And I'm like, oh, this is a sign. I've been clean for X amount of days. I got this shit. Like, just gonna take a couple, you know, for good old times. I'm bored. I don't know anyone here. Whatever. I was such a crock of shit. So I used them all over the next couple of days. And I figured, well, no one's going to notice, right? I'll just throw the bottle out. I'll just put the bottle in the trunk of my car. So I put the bottle in the trunk of my car. But now I have a really bad problem because I'm sick, right? I've eaten probably 180 Vicodin 10s over the last couple of days. My addiction is totally active again, you know, and I'm sick and I need to get something. So I knew this girl. For the life of me, I don't remember how I knew her, but she lived in Oneonta, which is about half hour from where I was living with my parents. So I hit her up and she's like, well, I know this dude over in Franklin. I can give you his number. So I'm like, all right. So he and I started, I call him. He doesn't get my phone call. He calls me back. I miss his call. This goes on for like a day or two. So finally I say to her, like, listen, if you talk to your homeboy, just let him know what's up because I'm sick. Like I need something. So finally I get him one day and he's like, yeah, I'm at my house. I'm in Franklin. Come on over. So I do. Turns out I had seen him around. I knew who he was. He knew who I was. I didn't know who he was. And I knew I'd seen him around. Just, you know, we live in a small area. And he gets me some pills. He hooks me up. Everything is great. Probably 3 weeks go by, right? And we're talking all the time. And he's hooking me up. And, you know, I'm driving him to go pick up. And I don't know at the time. I know nothing about heroin. Nothing. I've never even seen it before other than like TV or like don't do this type of stuff. You know what I mean? I don't know anything about it. So finally, probably like 3-4 weeks go by of him being able to cop pills for me and us becoming friendlier. And we start like hanging out and talking, you know? Finally, about a month, maybe about 4 to 6 weeks into it, one day I'm like, all right, I'm like, can we go pick up? I just got money or whatever the case may be. And he was like, yeah. He was like, but we're going to have to drive around. He was like, normal dude is out. And I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. I don't care. So we drive around that entire day. We cannot find anything. Next morning we drive around. Finally, like I'm sick. Like when I tell you I'm sick, I am sick as a dog sick. And I'm like, we have to go to your house. Like I have to go to the bathroom. I'm sick. Like I'm going to puke. I'm going to shit. Like it's horrible. I'm sweating and pouring sweat, but I'm freezing. I look like a bag of shit. Like it's bad. Like I'm DTing hard. Now you got to think, now it's probably like 2 months into me using every day. So I'm sick as a dog. Okay. We go downstairs. He slept in the basement of his parents' home. In his parents' home lived him, like his mother, his stepdad, his sister, his brother, and him. All 3 kids were active in their addiction at this time. The parents, I mean, I'm sure to an extent they knew, but probably not as bad as it was. So I go into the bathroom downstairs in the basement, and probably like, you know, half hour later, he knocks on the door and he's like, Jen, he's like, are you all right? And I was like, no, I'm dying. Dramatic ass, right? But that's the way you feel. Like when you're detoxing from opiates, you feel like you're on death's door. So I'm like puking as he's talking to me. I can't get off the toilet. It's horrible. So he's like, can I come in? And I'm like, ew, no, you cannot come in. And he's like, I'm coming in. He was like, listen, he was like, let me, I want to talk to you, but I can't yell this to you. He's like, I might have something that might help you. So I'm like, okay, mind you, he's not sick at all. Like he is right as rain. Like he is A-okay. So he comes in, he sits down on the floor. Now I'm super uncomfortable. So I'm like, just say what you have to say, you know? And he's like, well, let me get you some water. Da, da, da. I'm like, I don't want any fucking water. Like I'm dying. Leave me alone. Let me die by myself. And he's like, we have two options. And he was like, we can go to the emergency room and you can tell them you're sick and like it's your appendix and something's wrong. And I'm like, bro, I don't have my appendix. Like, that's not going to work. Like, I already had that shit removed. It's not going to work. So, okay, whatever. And I'm like, option two. And he was like, well, he's like, I have something that'll make you not be sick. And I'm like, what do you have that cannot make me sick? And he's like, well, my brother and I, he's like, we get high, but we get high a different way. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, now I'm getting annoyed because I'm like, okay, stop being cryptic. Like, just say it. Like, I'm not, just say it, bro. Just say it. I'm sitting on the toilet in front of you, puking and shitting. I'm dying. Just say what you got to say and get out. So he was like, so we use powder form. And I'm like, okay. Now, still at this point, I had never, ever seen heroin before. So he was like, we have some left over from this morning. So I'm like, powder, liquid, pill, I don't care. Fine, just give it to me. Like, I'm dying. He's like, all right, I'll be right back. So he comes back and he comes into the bathroom and all of a sudden he whips a needle and like a bottle, like a water bottle cap and stuff all out of his pocket. I'm like, whoa, what? No. What is this? And he's like, this is heroin. He was like, we shoot it. He was like, that's how we do it. He's like, and if I scrape the spoon and the cap, he was like, what's left over in the needle, he's like, it's enough because you've never done it before. He was like, you will be right as rain. And I'm like, you want to what? You want to shoot this in me? And I was like, no, absolutely not. Get the fuck out. Absolutely not. So he's like, all right. So he leaves and I'm still sick as a dog, puking like horrible, right? Probably another 15, 20 minutes goes by. He knocks on the door. He's like, you still sure? And I was so sick at this point. Like, I was dehydrated. I was so sick. There was not a drop of liquid left in my body and I'm still gagging. My legs are shaking, cold sweats, like, the whole gamut. And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, this time and this time only. This will just get me better enough that we can go look for something and at least I can get home. Because at this point, I couldn't even drive home. And he was like, all right, your secret's safe with me. Why would I tell on you when I do it too? So I'm like, all right. He comes over and he shoots me up. And literally, it was like, so if anyone has ever experienced it before, you can feel this sensation come up from the bottom of your neck and all the way through your mouth, and you can almost taste the substance because it hits your body that quickly. And I was so pure at that point because all I had been doing was eating or sniffing pills or cocaine. And I had not done cocaine in a very long time because I don't like cocaine, as we all know. So it was like immediately someone put the fix-it switch on and I was golden. Like, I was not sick. I was not shaking. I was not sweating. I mean, I was gross. My clothes and stuff were sweaty. And like, I was like, can I get a t-shirt, like to change? But it was like all of a sudden the world was okay. And I was fascinated and scared shitless. And I never thought, oh my God, like we just shared a needle or anything like that, because I was so naive to the fact of what had really just happened, other than, you hear people preach to you like, you're not supposed to do that, you're not supposed to do that. So I was scared about it. But other than that, I don't know. I just fell in love. And my intellectual mind was telling me, don't ever do this again. But the addict in me was like, when can we do that again? Like, where can we get more of that and when can we do it again? It was like, I always say it, like chasing the dragon is like touching the hand of God. I wish it didn't feel as great and amazing as it does, but that's how it gets you. Like, that's how it sinks into its teeth into you and grabs you and just takes you over. If it wasn't such a life-altering, amazing feeling, you wouldn't go back for more. And literally from that day in, everything I did chased that feeling. Everything. And it just swallows you up into this rabbit hole, and everything you are becomes that drug, and it just encompasses your life. Everything that I've gone through from then to now has made me who I am, and I am super grateful that I made it out alive and I am who I am today. But it took its toll on me, my life, my family, my relationships, everything, you know? And if I could go back and change the hands of time, there are some things I absolutely would not change, but there are other things that I would change in a heartbeat. And shooting up would be one of them. Remember, guys, if you need me, I'm just a message away. Please, you know, if I'm delayed on the messages, I do have other things that are going on, and gratefully I'm getting to spend more time with Bella. And as you know, as you're watching this, I'm in Chicago for the next 2 weeks, so please be mindful of that as well. I am taking some time with my family because that's what they are to me, and I will be in vacation mode, so to speak, playing with the girls and hanging out with Jess and Reese and stuff. Sadly, Jared can't come because he's still on parole, but as soon as he's off parole, we will be making more trips. This is just the first of many. I hope you guys are all doing amazing. I hope you just had an amazing weekend. I'm sure I did. And I will see you guys all on Wednesday. Bye.